Welcome back to Gold Derby. I'm Christopher Rosen. I'm joined by Joyce Ng. Joyce, we're here to talk about television again. The Oscars are over.
Wait, we're not talking about Will Smith?
No, maybe later. Maybe we can talk about Will later, but not now. Now we're talking about television and the.
So we're not talking about Bel Air.
No, Bel Air. I don't have Bel Air on any of my pre-Emmys lists.
Neither do I. Sorry to Bel Air.
Sorry to Peacock. Sorry to Bel Air. Sorry to producer Will Smith. No, we're here to talk about the Emmys, Joyce. It's here. Emmys in full swing. There are, I'm going to say, I wrote it down. There's 500,000 shows on at the moment. On across all.
That sounds accurate. Use your abacus.
I got it right here. Yeah, I wrote it down. So, incredible amount of volume. So we're going to go through our looking here at the major categories. I don't even know if we call them early predictions. I mean, we made predictions, but like, who knows?
I updated this morning for the first time since February.
Incredible. I did it yesterday. So we're recording this on Tuesday. So it's, you can see, I'll say the top line things again, just a lot of stuff and a lot of stuff to the point where I was like a lot of favorites, I think, from the years past, like a Ted Lasso or even a Hacks, honestly, are going to have stiff competition in comedy, Succession in drama, and then limited series is a total just mess. There are so many things. Looking at it, I was like, wow, all of these limited series 10 years ago, at least half of them would have been movies and they would have been up for Oscars. It's pretty incredible. Like they're all 8 episodes. They all are prestige. A lot of them. I
think we kind of talked about this a couple weeks ago, maybe like in relation to SAG or something.
It's absolutely wild.
I mean, we can talk about it later when we get to limited, but yeah.
So, I mean, I guess we'll start at the top on our odds here. You can make your picks at Gold Derby right now for the Emmys. We're just ready for this. It's happening. So comedy series, Joyce, I'm just going to read through some of the, there's just so many shows. It's just,
I think last year, I think maybe it was like in our column, I said it's not peak TV anymore. It's mass TV.
It is mass TV.
Peak TV, because no one can watch all of these shows.
I'm just scrolling down. Here are some shows that are like 100 to 1 odds on our thing. We're not even going to honestly probably even mention these. Girls 5 Eva coming back for season 2. And just like that, the Sex and the City sequel reboot, Schmigadoon, which has an Oscar winner and Ariana DeBose. Better Things, I think, is the final season. Just one after the other. These are like previously, I would say, would be like kind of major shows that just aren't even on our radar. I don't know. I'm just like
they're on our radar, but it's too crowded.
Oh my gosh.
And you have shows like Maisel and Atlanta and Barry coming back, or
even like our favorite, The Flight Attendant, Russian Doll, a very popular show from Netflix. All of these are tough. So I'll just read through the top according to our odds, and I'll just read through my picks. Whatever. Ted Lasso nominated, Hacks, Only Murders in the Building, Barry coming back for its long-awaited 3rd season, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. And then I have actually Abbott Elementary, The After Party, and Julia. Those are my 3 like Hail Mary upset picks. I actually think all 3 are going to get in. And that leaves Atlanta out. That leaves The Great out. That leaves What We Do in the Shadows out. Curb Your Enthusiasm, Flight Attendant, as I mentioned, Pen 15, Russian Doll. But yeah, those are my early picks for the 8 nominees here.
Wow. Yeah, should I do mine?
Yeah, go ahead, and then we can talk about this. No, go for it.
I have Hacks. I actually moved that to first today just to be different over Ted, because everyone has Ted. Right. And I don't think it really matters what you have like in first at this point, because it's just nominations and they're both getting in. And Ted, obviously, Barry, Only Murders in the Building, Maisel, Atlanta. I just put The Flight Attendant in this morning.
Wow.
And also Abbott Elementary. I dropped our fave, The After Party, which broke my heart.
And no Julia for you.
No Julia for me. I have some of the actors in, but no Julia yet.
So I've seen the first 2 of Julia. It's on HBO Max right now. It's about Julia Child. It just feels like a slam dunk Emmy favorite to me watching it. I was like, this is just full catnip. Great performances, very famous character actors / Frasier stars. Incredible period detail. Fran Kranz, our favorite mass filmmaker, just killing it. I thought it's really well done. So I put it in.
I mean, you know what I really want to put in is Minx. which
Minx
I love.
also not on our list here. I would,
but yeah, it's also like the lead character's name is Joyce, so obviously I'm partial to it. But it's really fun. I already finished the whole season.
Loving Minx. It feels. I was saying to somebody last night who's also watching it. It feels like the fourth, or is it the fourth season of Glow that we never received. I would say, as a fan of Glow, from Netflix, it's very similar.
Yeah, and it's like such an easy watch, and episodes are so short. There's an episode that's 24 minutes. I'm like, this is a dream come true for me. Like perfect.
So we have most of the same ones here. I would say two things here, and then we could this could literally be like a 4-hour video because there's so much stuff. But we'll keep it a little bit moving.
This is just like the general overview for now.
The two things I would say. The two things I want to talk about. I think your instinct on Ted Lasso, even though obviously it's going to get nominated, and we'll talk about this a lot, and it could still easily win because it, as you mentioned, it kind of swept through the winter awards, right? Like Ted Lasso is like the show at the moment and remains the show. But I wonder, last year during the Emmys, it was the momentum from season 2 that really kind of helped it push forward through the Emmy season, right? Because season 2 was airing when they were voting, and we talked about that specifically for like Brett Goldstein. His biggest episodes were literally right when they were voting for supporting actor. And at the time, supporting actor was like, boy, there's a lot of different contenders. There's 4 different people from Ted Lasso. Does Brett Goldstein pop? And then like he really did in the second season, which was not what people were voting on.
Yeah, I mean, they specifically timed it that way.
Correct. And so this year they're not going to be able to do that because the show is, I think season 3 is in production now, or it's certainly not.
Yeah, they're a little behind this year, but the show that is trying to do that this year is Murders.
Yes, so only Murders is doing it. I think it's coming back in June for its second season.
It's coming back. It's premiering June 28th, which is the day after phase 1 voting closes for nominations. And I think they should either move it earlier or move it back. Like I think it should overlap with the actual voting for nominations, or they should do it like what Ted did last year and premiere it after nominations come out.
Right. So
because now it's just airing the dead zone. I mean, it's gonna it's weekly, so there'll still be episodes while after nominations, but it's like, everyone finished voting, they turn in their ballots, and then the next day the show premieres, and maybe they fall in love with it more. I don't know. So
I think that's probably what they're
airing that like 3-week period or 2-week period when nothing is happening.
Right. So that's why I feel like Ted Lasso is not a lock to win in this category as it would have been like last year when it was like such an overwhelming pick. And there's a lot of really good shows that I think people will also enjoy. Like we said, like Hacks coming back, Murders, Barry. I didn't have Atlanta in there only just to kind of be a little bit contrary. And I feel like this new season, I feel like has gotten a lot of critical acclaim, but not as, it just seems like a little muted to me in the discourse. I don't know. Maybe Barry will be like that too, just because they've been away for so long that it comes back and it's like, whatever. That's why I went with the 3 new. So I have Abbott Elementary. You did too, right?
Yeah, I put that in there. I can see it, it's like a 50-50 getting in and not getting in. I could see it just being like the new Blackish, the new like Modern Family of waving the broadcast flag. Like people really like it.
It's so good. I'm a huge fan of this show. It's incredibly funny. It definitely is like because it's on ABC, obviously like Modern Family and Blackish is maybe the comp, but it obviously is like way in on like the Parks and Rec Office vibes because it's like a mockumentary. It's so funny. There's like an incredible ensemble there. It's just a really enjoyable watch, and it's I think
even if it doesn't get into series, I think it could get actress and like writing.
Same. And the other thing that's enjoyable about it is, like you were mentioning, it's such a treat to watch a show. So I watch it on Hulu, not on broadcast, but it obviously is on ABC. But it's such a treat to watch a show that's 20 minutes, 22 minutes, especially even these
shows are too long, guys. No one has the time for a 59-minute episode.
Even these comedy, Julia, every episode is like 45 to 55 minutes, and it's like, this is a comedy.
Yeah. So, like I will say, so like I've seen 6 episodes of Flight Attendant, the new season.
Yes,
season 6, and they're like it moves pretty quickly just because of the way it's edited and the pacing. So I don't feel the length, but some of these other shows, like you feel the length, even if it's shorter than like 50 minutes.
I felt like that with Mrs. Maisel for this most recent season, which we still have not finished. The other one I wanted to ask about, After Party. I'm shocked you dropped it. I have it in.
I know, I dropped it for Abbott Elementary.
So I think we love the After Party. It's on Apple TV. I don't know if we've talked about it on one of these before, but you and I have talked about it extensively for months, because Apple was sending out the screeners since like January, I believe. It's incredibly fun murder mystery that all the episodes are on now. You could probably binge it. And I think the first episode's like 50 minutes, but everything else is like 30 minutes.
Yeah, everything else. Yeah, because they need to set it up. So that was fine. I forgive them for that, but everything else is like 30 minutes.
It's just a great show. It's so much fun. It has like all of your faves in it, including Ben Schwartz, who hopefully will surface later here when we're doing our picks.
And like banger songs, because his musical. So the format is like every character tells their version of the night's events of the murder.
Yes.
From their perspective, and it like parodies a genre, like a movie genre. So Ben Schwartz is musicals, and he sings 3 songs, and they're amazing, and they're all going to be on my Spotify Wrapped at the end of the year.
Incredibly great songs. I love it so much. I think the reason I have it on there is twofold. A, I think Apple is really kind of like, perhaps I'm still on the high of Coda, but I think they are good at like getting the shows in front of the right people. And B, it's from Phil Lord and Chris Miller. Or Chris Miller actually is like I think he wrote all of them or directed all of them, right?
Yeah, it was supposed to be a movie like 10 years ago.
Right.
And it was like his idea.
So this is one of those shows where we'll talk about this later with the limited series. And we did just mention this. I think this could have been also a movie, obviously, like 10 years ago, but I love the way it works as a show, because you get to.
It's coming up for season 2. It's basically like an anthology murder.
It's an anthology, and also then you can do every episode is like a different genre, which I think is really fun. Yeah. So I just feel like Chris Miller is great at promo. They were all over the place for Mitchell vs. the Machines. They were tweeting about it like ad nauseum, and I feel like the same thing could happen with
they got all their famous friends to tweet about it,
and I think the After Party has something similar going, so I could see it getting in. But that would leave, like I said, I have Atlanta out. I have What We Do in the Shadows out. It's just, I think we're going to look back. I have Flight Attendant out, which is breaking my heart because I love the first season. I don't know. I feel like we're going to look here when the Emmy nominations are announced in July and just be like, wow, I can't believe all these shows got snubbed. Like Insecure final season.
Here's the thing. Neither of us have a Netflix show right now, right? This is what I was like contemplating, because I was like, I should probably put in a Netflix show. Maybe Emily in Paris. No, but like probably Russian Doll, right?
Russian Doll would be the one, right?
It depends. So,
it depends on
like
how the
Netflix
second season
will probably get in here somewhere.
Or Cobra Kai, I guess, would be their other big option, or Sex Education, or
which will get Will Smith a nomination because season 8.
Right, amazing. Joyce, let's go to the acting comedy categories, because I think we could like kind of, again, like you said, like who's getting nominated versus like who's winning. I'll just read mine right now. Jean Smart, obviously. For Hacks, reigning champ here as the best actress winner. I have her in. I have Rachel Brosnahan for Mrs. Maisel. I have Issa Rae for Insecure. Kaylee Cuoco for Flight Attendant. Quinta Brunson for Abbott Elementary. And then I put Sarah Lancashire for Julia. And I actually have her incredibly high. I don't have her beating Jean, but I could see I could see her being incredibly a strong contender to win. But
I have those exact same 6, and I put Sarah in back in February, and it was like right after their TCA panel, and I hadn't even watched the show yet.
It's a pretty great performance. She does a really solid job of mimicking, I think, Julia Child, and separates enough from the pop culture version of Julia Child, which to me is Meryl Streep and Julie and Julia. And it's really, really solid performance.
The show is, she's not exactly. It's a different type of performance than if you're just thinking of Julie and Julia, and the show is like without the Julie parts,
right? Which were having rewatched that like within the last like 3 years, that the Julie parts get a bad rap, but it's like the best parts of the movie are the Julia parts, not the Julie parts. No offense to Amy Adams and Chris Messina, who are great.
Love Chris Messina.
So the person we left out then in our odds would be next was Selena Gomez and Only Murders, and I think it depends on how, like you were saying, like maybe the second season helps her, but maybe not, because it premieres after voting.
Voting is closed.
She actually would maybe benefit from having it earlier, because her first season, I think she would be on the fringe here. She's great on the show. I love her so much. But I don't know. So, and then other people.
And she missed SAG in their single category.
Right.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would love for her to get in because she's really good on it, and she plays off of Martin Short and Steve Martin really well, and she's kind of like the dry, like straight man, so it's not like haha funny, like in your face funny.
Right.
But I think it's also a surprising performance for a lot of people if they just know her from like her Disney stuff or
Sure.
seeing her or something,
Looking at the list, and this is no knock on the performance, I'd say the most vulnerable person on my list is Issa Rae, just because the final season of Insecure is such a memory at this point. And if something pops like later, like Natasha Lyonne and Russian Doll maybe, or I don't even know. There's like, I think Physical is like a Rose Byrne, who knows? There could be a world where Issa Rae gets like maybe left behind because people are out of sight, out of mind on Insecure. But I still have her in for now.
Yeah, I still have her in. I didn't have the show in, but I think she can get in without the show.
Yeah. I mean, people are leaving out Renee Elise Goldsberry in Girls Five Eva, Tiffany Haddish for After Party, Jane Fonda for Grace and Frankie, Lily Tomlin for Grace and Frankie, Amy Schumer for Life and Beth, though perhaps maybe not now, as her post-Oscars comedy tour is generating some headlines that I don't think you want. Let's see.
Some things that it's like TMI. You don't need to say some things out loud.
Yeah, if the jokes were cut, they're probably cut for a reason. If you're like, what are these two talking about? Just Google Amy Schumer and Oscars, and I'm sure you'll see it. Great cat. There's just so many great actresses in this category who are not even, like Sophia Black-Delia for A Single Drunk Female is a show that people really like, I think, and there's
Sandra Oh for The Chair. She
right.
Tag for that.
Vanessa Bayer for I Love You. I Love That for You from Showtime is coming out. Just a great category. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, Gene, I think this is last year, I think it was a blowout for Gene Smart. And this is kind of like what I was thinking with Ted Lasso. This year, it seems a lot more competitive with like Sarah Lancashire and Rachel Brosnahan as the top three with Gene.
So here's the thing. We had the same comedy winners throughout the winter with, Ted, like the Ted series, except at the Globes, which Hacks won, and Gene, like they all just basically swept.
Right.
So it's like, are we going to have all of them repeat again at the Emmys?
I don't know. I think there's a room. I mean, they could. We easily could. The Emmys love repeat winners, seemingly in the comedy categories. Maybe it's just this.
But also in this category, like, we had Julia for 6 years in a row, and then we've just had single winners since Rachel, because it was Rachel Brosnahan and then Phoebe Waller-Bridge,
right?
And then Catherine O'Hara, and both of them could not repeat because those were the final seasons that they won for. Now we have Jean, who could actually repeat. So is she going to be like a new JLD here?
I guess I can't. I guess we'll figure this out as this moves forward. But I wonder, is it a Gene? We got to give Gene multiple Emmys, or was it like we really want to give Gene this Emmy last year, and now we're free to go somewhere else for a performance we might like? Either go back to Rachel Brosnahan or Sarah Lancashire, or who knows, like maybe Quinta Brunson or something totally outrageous that we're not thinking of right now, because maybe Abbott Elementary ends up like being incredibly sticky at the Emmys. Best actor, Joyce. This one I feel like a lot of another one with just a ton of good people, but the top five I feel like are pretty set. It's Jason Sudeikis, Steve Martin for Only Murders, Bill Hader for Barry, Donald Glover for Atlanta, Martin Short for Only Murders, and then my sixth is my boy Sam Richardson from The After Party. I put him in, Joyce. I'm going for it.
I mean, this could just end up being five, just like last year, because it's like proportional slots. So depending on the number of submissions, like I know we have six for, I think,
yes,
the lead categories, but a lot of them could just end up as five.
So the other possibilities for, I assume you have those top five, and then who's your sixth?
Yeah, Bill, Jason, Steve, Martin, Donald, and my sixth is my guy Don Cheadle.
Nice. Black Monday. Way to go.
Yeah, which quietly ended. I don't think a lot of people know that it ended, but it ended. They like Showtime basically just canceled it during COVID.
Right.
And he's never won an Emmy. But last year he got in for his 2-minute performance on Falcon and Winter Soldier. So he also can get in this year for narrating Wonder Years. Maybe he can actually win for that finally.
We talked about it.
He's fresh off his second Grammy win, so he has 2 Grammys, 0 Emmys.
Wow. Yeah, I think that's a great pick. The other option, I have Sam Richardson, who I really liked on the After Party. Nicholas Hoult for The Great is the 6th person on our odds, and Anthony Anderson for Blackest, John Cheadle, like you mentioned, Larry David, Sean Cena for Peacemaker. I feel like it's like an intriguing possibility. That show is.
I watched that with my friends like 2 weeks ago. We just like binged it that weekend, and yeah, he's fun.
Fun, and he's like a huge star, so that's like another thing. But this, I feel like we'll see what happens in this category. And so while Only Murder, so this is funny, but I think Selena Gomez would probably need Only Murders to debut earlier in June to get that push for her nomination. But Only Murders debuting after the nominations, when Steve Martin is getting in and Martin Short's getting in, there's a great opportunity, I think, here, if they're blowing people away in season 2, to push ahead of Jason Sudeikis for Ted Lasso. I could see Steve Martin winning this, honestly.
I have, who do you have in first? I have Bill in first.
I have Jason still, but I have Steve in second. I mean, Bill is also a possibility because that show comes back, I think, in April. So now.
Yeah, the 24th. I know it's going to be a lot of SNL people here.
Right. Supporting actress in a comedy, Joyce. So I'll read off so this is 8 slots. I have the top 5, and then I have 3 dart throws, but the top 5 are Hannah Waddingham for Ted Lasso, Alex Borstein for Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Hannah Einbinder for Hacks, Juno Temple for Ted Lasso, and Kate McKinnon for Saturday Night Live. And then my other 3 were Janelle James for Abbott Elementary, who is absolutely just wrecking that every week, just killing it. Unbelievably funny as the principal. Maren Hinkle for Mrs. Maisel, and BB Newirth for Julia. Those are my final. Those are my 8.
Wow. Okay. I have both Hannahs, Alex, Juno, Kate, and then I'm going back to the well with past nominees Sarah Goldberg and Von Orby, and then I have Sheryl Lee Ralph from Abbott Elementary.
Nice. So Sheryl Lee Ralph is also incredible in Abbott Elementary, and she's obviously the more brand name actress. I'm just hoping Janelle James she's just stealing scenes on that show every week. It's just
what if they both get in?
They could both get in.
Unlimited ballot or unlimited slots on the ballot. So
I'm surprised you didn't go with BB Newirth, Joyce.
I know, it's because I'm sticking with my past nominees, because I can't tell with Barry and Atlanta and Maisel, all these returning shows. It's been a couple years with them, so I don't know if because there's so much TV now and they're not checking out the newer shows, if they're just going to go back to the old familiar stuff.
So I kind of went opposite, because I was do they feel so out of sight, out of mind that you barely are you're so now wrapped up in the new stuff that you're getting fed, especially if you turn on these services. When you turn on, I'm sure HBO Max will heavily promote Barry when it comes back, but if you turn on HBO Max, it's Julia is just in your face and Minx, and you can't really.
But
miss
then it's
anything.
you have to start a new show and commit to it. Well.
That's true too. That's a problem when you have 50 million shows.
Yeah, because you could just be a huge Barry stan and you've been waiting 3 years for it to come back.
Yeah, it's tough. I'm but do you even remember what happened on Barry 2 years ago, 3 years ago? That's the other thing. I'm just people are gonna actually, I don't know.
Or maybe people started watching it during COVID.
True, that's another thing. There's so many unknowns. It's a lot of unknown knowns, right? Or known unknowns. What is that Donald Rumsfeld said once? I don't know. Let's see. For supporting actor in a comedy, Joyce, I went rogue a couple of spots. I'm just gonna be honest, but I have the top 5. It's another 8 slots. Top 5 are Brett Goldstein for Ted Lasso, Tony Shalhoub for Mrs. Maisel, Henry Winkler for Barry, Bowen Yang for SNL, and Brian Tyree Henry for Atlanta. And then my other nominees were Nick Mohammed for Ted Lasso, David Hyde Pierce for Julia, and Ben Schwartz for The After Party. So I left off Keenan for SNL, Anthony Carrigan for Barry, Lakeith Stanfield for Atlanta, Stephen Root for Barry, and so on.
I have Brett, Tony. I have a triple Barry. I have Henry Winkler, Anthony Carrigan, Stephen Root. I'm all in on Barry for some reason. I don't even remember doing this in February, but I did it apparently, and I kept it today. Bowen, and I too have 4-time winner in this category, David Hyde Pierce and Ben Schwartz.
So David Hyde Pierce,
Ben Schwartz.
Ben Schwartz should definitely get in. He's the best. Love him so much. David Hyde Pierce, I think, could actually win. in this category.
He's won 4 times already.
And he's really good. The thing I like about him on Julia is that I think if you watch Julia, if your only knowledge of this is, which mine is Julie and Julia, you're like, oh, her husband is so nice, Stanley Tucci, and David Hyde Pierce plays him, and he's kind of a dick, and I think that's like really fun.
Yeah, it's different. If like Stanley Tucci, who I love to Tucci, is your only reference, your expectations will be upended. So.
Yeah, he's just constant negs from him in this show. So
I don't know. Like you have multiple Ted guys. I only have one Ted guy. I only have Brett because I have guys for
2. I put Nick Mohammed in just because I think actually he's
even though his heel turn.
I think that's worth it. I think he gets in. Those are the only 2. I actually almost didn't have Bo and Yang in, and I'm kind of wondering how SNL will do this whole Emmys, just because it seems like no one's it doesn't seem like as buzzy as like last year's were, right?
Yeah,
like
it's pretty quiet. I don't even know who most of the hosts are. Like I know Gerard Carmichael hosted this past weekend, but I feel like I know who hosted or who's going to host like that week, and then like there's nothing really notable about that episode because I don't watch SNL, so I just like
I read the
recaps, like the clips and sketches like online.
I'll give you a plug. I'll give a plug to a competitive site, not really, but EW does a great SNL recap that is just like literally like recaps every sketch, and I don't even watch the sketches. I'll just like read what it was, and it's like, okay, that sounds pretty good. Maybe I'll check it out. I don't know. I honestly almost knocked out in the previous category, Kate McKinnon. I just was like, I can't remember one thing I've seen this year go viral of her, or that's like last year, I think we had, like, for example, like Cecily Strong had that incredible statement final episode, even though it wasn't her last episode. And there were like easy, like Bo and Yang, the iceberg, and like,
well, that's still coming up.
It's still coming up. And like, they could obviously do something in the next month that's like incredibly memorable and sticky. So it's like hard to judge, but so far there hasn't been like breakout moments like that from the season, and they're kind of running out of time. So that was why
because I feel like I usually like I'll watch a sketch online or something, or like there's like a sketch, like the minute it airs on TV, like, you know, SNL like tweets it and it like goes viral and stuff, and then I'll watch it, you know. Mm-hmm. But I'm pretty sure I have not watched a single sketch this season.
It's a strange year so far. It just feels like a transitional year. They have like a lot of new people, and it's not an election year, so it's not as buzzy, obviously. And you know, it is what it is. So that's comedy. Great. We had so much laughs, Joyce. Now we're going to go to the drama categories. Again, completely unhinged. The amount of shows here are just overwhelming.
Just Max TV.
Max TV is right. So here are my nominees. I don't even know. I'm missing. I'll read off what I got based on the odds. I don't know. I'll just read off. There's 8 nominees here. I have Succession, obviously, and Squid Game, and Better Call Saul. I do not have Ozark. And knock that out. I have Yellow Jackets and Yellowstone. I threw Euphoria in, and then kind of hope and a prayer. I have Severance and Pachinko, both Apple TV Plus shows. So I kept out.
Why did you drop Ozark?
Why?
Yeah,
I just think, I don't know. I'm like, just like, there's just too much. And I wanted to put these other shows in, basically. I know it's probably going to get in. It's like 4th in our odds. I don't know.
You know, like they're doing part 2 in like 3 weeks. Like they're not even splitting it up between 2 Emmy seasons.
I know. I don't know. I left out that. I left out Killing Eve. I left out Morning Show. I left out my beloved Winning Time, the final season of This Is Us, Bridgerton, Stranger Things, Gaslit, which is like a Julia Roberts show coming to Stars. It's just Loki, all the Marvel stuff, Obi-Wan. It's just, there's too much. I can't figure it out. I wanted to get these shows in. Severance is absolutely my favorite show of the year by far. It's incredibly good. The Euphoria second season I loved, and Pachinko I just feel like has the kind of pedigree to get in. I guess if I was going to knock one out for Ozark at the moment, even though it probably gets in, it would be Pachinko for me, but I don't know. What do you got?
Okay, I have Ozark. I have Succession. I have Ozark in 2.
Wow. Okay.
Squid Game, Better Call Saul, my beloved Better Call Saul, that needs to win an Emmy. I have both Yellowstone, Yellow Jackets. I'm not really sure about Yellow Jackets, but I kept it in there for now. I put in Stranger Things back in since they're gonna make the deadline. And I have Severance. I considered Pachinko. I just started watching it yesterday.
So maybe I'll put Ozark in and take out Pachinko.
Because I don't have Pachinko.
No, because you have Ozark in second.
Because they like Ozark. 2-time Emmy winner Julia Garner.
I know.
They love Ozark.
Fine, Ozark back. I got Ozark back in.
Okay. I don't like, I could see a world with like Pachinko and Severance getting in, but I don't know if I'm there yet. And
no,
maybe like I'll drop one of the yellows for it. Maybe Yellow Jackets. I don't know. But yeah, I don't have a morning show in, which did not get a series nomination last time.
I don't have morning show in either. I do think Euphoria is I just love the second season. Euphoria is great. I think it's such a great show, and I just feel like it's gonna get in. I think the buzz for season 2 is just undeniable, and it'll get in. And then, yeah, I don't know. Killing Eve, I feel I don't have in. Winning Time, I wanted to put in, but I'm just not convinced.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
I gotta feel this is I think it would have a better shot if it was in comedy, even though it's a drama.
Yeah.
It feels like, to be honest, there's similar amounts of comedy and drama in both Winning Time and Juliet. So they could actually be in the same category, but Julie's obviously in comedy and Winning Time is in drama.
And then, yeah. And
you know what I mean? Like, it's just
they would have to, yeah. So, I mean, like, I know why they want to be in drama.
Yeah, it is a drama, but it's a drama with comedy elements. So is Juliet.
It's like a McKay show. I mean, right. It is a McKay show. But even though his style is like less apparent as the season goes on.
So we don't, neither one of us have This Is Us in, Joyce. Any shot for the final season?
I don't think I have This Is Us in anywhere above the line.
No.
I? Yeah.
We'll see. I don't think I do.
Yeah.
And Stranger Things I had toyed with, and I'm just like, I don't know. Again, it's another one of those shows where, like earlier we were saying, like, it's been so long. I know it's going to be a blockbuster hit. People are going to watch it like crazy and really probably enjoy it, or, dissect it to death. But I just wonder, will voters remember that they liked it and like put it in? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of so popular that, I mean, it's been 3 years.
Well, I thought also maybe does the Squid Game popularity overtake, if there's one spot for like the incredibly popular show on Netflix, you have Squid Game instead of Stranger Things. So these are actually like a lot of popular shows. Yellowstone.
Yeah, I think there's room for both of them.
Yeah.
And Netflix has gotten more than one show in here before. Right. Obviously, like The Crown's not here this year. I mean, neither of us have Bridgerton. I could see Bridgerton getting in.
Very easily can see it getting in. Yeah, it's just like there's just, again, too much stuff. Let's go to the acting categories. So for drama actress, I've got the top 3, and I threw some darts. So I have Zendaya for Euphoria, past winner here, obviously, for season 1. Laura Linney for Ozark, and Melanie Lynskey for Yellow Jackets. Then I threw Jodie Comer in for Killing Eve, Patricia Arquette for Severance, and Julia Roberts for Gaslit, sight unseen, just because she's Julia Roberts. I left out Sandra Oh.
Homecoming.
Yeah, I left out Sandra Oh and Jennifer Aniston for both of them. The other person I was considering is Carrie Coon for The Gilded Age. I feel like could surprise here. Maybe Mandy Moore for the final season of This Is Us. You have Elizabeth Moss for Shining Girls. Katrina Balfe for Outlander. Oscar snubbed Christina Balfe.
Is that gonna get her sympathy? The Oscar snub?
I don't think so. I don't think people even remember it.
For what, season 6?
Yeah, I don't know.
A show they've never touched. I have like I think this is the top 6. I'm like being really basic. I have Laura, Zendaya, Jennifer, Jodie, Melanie, and Sandra.
Nice. I guess we'll see. I have Zendaya winning. She has like incredibly harrowing parts of Euphoria season 2, and I think her submissions would be like pretty like just stunning, basically. But maybe Laura.
Well, she has like that big up, even though she's like mostly MIA in a lot of other episodes.
She had one huge episode, right, where she's like kind of on the run and high. And she goes in and out of the show, and so we'll see. But I mean, maybe Laura Linney for Ozark takes it, or Melanie Linsky.
Before they decided or announced that part 2 of Ozark was gonna drop at the end of April, I was like, oh, Zendaya could win. But now, since they are just doing the complete final season in this cycle, I'm like, maybe Laura has some really great stuff in this back half.
Yeah,
and she's won an Emmy for every role she's contended for, except for this one so far.
And Zendaya could win for season 3 if they wanted to go back to her or whatever. It's not like there's not going to be another opportunity.
And also, like, no one under this current system, the new system for the Emmys, which has been like 6 years now anyway, like no one has repeated. No one's won more than once.
Right.
It started. So
the people I mentioned Julia Roberts for Gaslit. I've not seen it at all. Just watch the trailer. Julia Roberts. That's it. I know there's a guy in the comments who's gonna be like, "Oh, he says it's just the name." I said the name, Julia Roberts. That's it. That's why she would get nominated. But Patricia Arquette for Severance, I love on the show. She's playing very complex.
She's more supporting.
She is definitely supporting, and I think she would have an easier time getting in and supporting, and arguably could maybe win. But at the same time, I still think she'll get in here. It's a great performance, and I think she's really beloved by the Television Academy. That was my other thing.
Remember when she won for Medium in 2005? Right.
So that was why I got her in. She's great. For drama actor, Joyce. Wow, this one is just. So I got Brian Cox winning. Love Brian Cox for Succession. Jeremy Strong. I got Lee Jong-jae for Squid Game. I have Bateman for Ozark. I have Bob Odenkirk for Better Call Saul. And then I have John C. Reilly for Winning Time. That's it. I left off Adam Scott, who I really wanted to put in, but alas, I went with John C. Reilly, who plays.
I have Adam Scott in.
Funny. He's great on Severance. So the one issue, the reason I went with John C. Reilly over Adam Scott and left off, according to our odds, so I assume you have the same 5 and then Adam Scott instead of John C. Reilly.
I need Bob to get back in because he was cruelly snubbed last time.
So the people we left, the 6 in our odds is Kevin Costner for Yellowstone, and then Sterling K. Brown for This Is Us, and then John C. Reilly and Adam Scott are next. The reason I went with John C. Reilly instead of Adam Scott is while Adam Scott is playing a dual role, he's subdued in both roles, and John C. Reilly is just destroying the scene. He's he's going big, and Jerry Buss is an incredibly flamboyant character, and I think he really does a great job with it. There was like a lot of, obviously, in the Don't Look Up press cycle, Adam McKay talked about like his falling out with Will Ferrell, and like part of the reason they aren't friends is because of this show. And they had originally cast actually Michael Shannon as Jerry Buss, which is just
he didn't like the fourth wall breaking.
I just honestly can't even picture it based on like how John C. Reilly plays him and actually how Jerry Buss probably was in real life. So
I mean, it'll just be a different take on it. I mean, Michael Shannon can do.
I love Michael Shannon, but yeah. So I watch it. I'm like winning. I just love John C. Reilly on the show. I think he's like doing a great job. He's incredibly funny. He gets a lot of the anger, and the Jerry Buss has a big chip on his shoulder, and I think John C. Reilly plays him like that, and it feels like just a perfect marriage of performer and actor. So that's why I have him in. But I would love Adam Scott to get in. I just can't imagine any of these other 5 getting snubbed.
I mean, Bob was snubbed last time.
I know, but how are they going to snub Bob?
They shouldn't. Yeah, so I have him in, and I put Adam in because I honestly didn't even consider, no offense to him, John C. Reilly that much, just because I feel like people are more into Severance than Winning Time. Like there's more buzz for Severance and Adam Scott's performance in it than there is for Winning Time. And Adam Scott is someone who's been in a lot of popular shows over the years, and he's never personally been nominated for it.
He's great. I mean, I would love it.
Maybe now it's his time.
It would be amazing if it was. And then we'll see who wins. I mean, we've seen in the winter here, Lee Jung-jae is seemingly steamrolled as Brian Cox and Jeremy Strong just split the vote. So we'll see if that happens at the Emmys. I still think this is the year to give Brian Cox an Emmy. I think that's going to end up being pretty enticing. This is the one time to give him an Emmy, but maybe we'll see.
The one time.
Well, because next you're going to give, like, I imagine eventually the way the show is going, and I guess they could give him a huge arc in the final. Like Logan seemingly has to die at some point, right? Like in the final season, like wouldn't that be the show? And then the aftermath of his death is like how they kind of like runs out. So
are you like saying he's going to die and the show will continue?
Well, I feel like I'm not Jesse Armstrong and I'm in Dummy. So like those are two key things to consider here. But if I was like conceptualizing Succession's endgame, you would have to have a certain point, have a peak with Brian and Logan, and then die, his character dies, and then like the runoff of the last half of the final season is like the aftermath of Logan's death. Maybe it's not though. And like I said, again, I am a dummy, so I'm not Justin Armstrong, who is a award-winning writer.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever thought of it that way, but I also don't like think of my shows that way.
Right.
I just let it unfold the way. I don't think of it as like a mystery box. Like people go like totally lost on shows because of loss, and like I don't care. Like you just give me the episodes and I'll watch them.
I guess I agree with you on that, and I don't actually care what happens. I was just like thinking, maybe overthinking. I'm like, Brian Cox in season 3 is great, and like give him. I
don't care if he dies or not. Like I just trust Jesse to do whatever he wants to do.
It's Sterling K. Brown for This Is Us, Joyce. Before we move on, any shot here, final season? Gotta be pretty strong shot, right?
I mean, would I be surprised if he makes it in for every season of the show as he has so far? No.
Right.
But I mean, I guess I would drop Adam for him if I were gonna predict him right now.
And now supporting actress, these are just holy cow. Okay. Hang on. So all right. I've got the top 5, I guess. So it's Sarah Snook, Julia Garner for Ozark, Jung Ho Yun for Squid Game, J. Smith Cameron for Succession, and Christina Ricci for Yellow Jackets. Then I put Rhea Seehorn in for Better Call Saul, Sydney Sweeney for Euphoria, and Yoo Jung-yoon for Pachinko.
Sydney Sweeney going all in on Euphoria.
Sydney Sweeney on Euphoria is incredible. She is so good, has all the memes, and I just feel like this is the time to give her an Emmy nomination.
I mean, if there's an Emmy for best meme, then sure.
I think there might be popularity. I thought so. I put Yoo Jung-yoon for Pachinko in here. I thought of maybe Sally Field for Winning Time, but she's really not in it all that much. I thought maybe Kelly Riley for Yellowstone, Juliette Lewis for Yellow Jackets. Those are my like alternates, but I don't know.
I have Sarah, Julia, Jung Ho Yun, J. Smith Cameron, Yoo Jung-yoon. I do have Kelly Riley. I have Kim Joo-young from Squid Game. So I did multiple Squid Game just because I feel like with the unlimited ballot, they might go there. Mm-hmm. And I too am hope dicting Rhea Seehorn.
Gotta be right. I mean,
I just know like the actors just don't watch that show. Like it's so cruel. But yeah, I don't know if I'll keep her in there by July 12th, but I'll have her in there right now.
I just feel like maybe this is the year. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean they are splitting the season, so the back half of the final season premieres in July, so they're eligible again next year.
Right. Drama supporting actor, Joyce, just our pals right at the top. Kieran Culkin and Matthew McFadden for Succession, got them both. Billy Crudup for Morning Show, Oh Young-soo for Squid Game, Nicholas Braun for Succession. So that's the top 5. I have those 5. And then my dart throws for the bottom 3 were John Turturro for Severance, Owen Wilson for Loki, and Quincy Isaiah for Winning Time.
Do you just reserve the last 3 spots?
Kind of, because I'm just like, whatever. I mean, I'll make the case for all of them. John Turturro on Severance is incredibly good. He actually has like a really dramatic arc, and I just love him on the show. I think he's so good. So hopefully he gets in, especially if there's like a big affection for Severance. Loki, Owen Wilson was great on it. I think we forgot how good he was. He's like really charming, definitely a breakout character. And while sure, like Giancarlo Esposito for Better Call Saul or Jonathan Banks for Better Call Saul, seemingly better bets. I just was like, I love Owen Wilson and Loki. And then Quincy Isaiah, I don't know. Because the show is about the Lakers and the Television Academy is all like Laker fans in my mind, I'm just like, he's great as Magic. He's so charming as Magic. It is definitely a breakout performance. And he's basically the co-lead of the show with John C. Reilly, to the point where I think you could argue in the early episodes, there's actually too much Magic as we're waiting to get.
I actually colloquially call it too much Magic with my friends.
There's a lot of Magic.
So much backstory.
It's a lot of Magic. There's a ton of backstory about his life, about his like trip to, his college days and like
everything all his about like him. Drama with his girlfriend, future wife.
He's incredibly charming. He just is like, I don't know, to play Magic Johnson, you have to have, it's just, I don't know how they found Quincy Isaiah has to believably play basketball, which, I mean, none of them are like, you're not watching the show and being like, wow, that's Magic and Kareem. Solomon Hughes plays Kareem, but they're really good at basketball. I think they pull it off, and he's just so winning and charming. And so they're
really good at basketball. Great review.
Well, no, I mean, like it looks like it doesn't look
like it's good editing too.
Yeah. He's believable on the court. Like he passes the eye test basically. So yeah, I don't know. Those are my 8 is I have 4 Succession guys because I am who I am. Wow. So who's the 4th one?
Alan, obviously.
Wow.
Alan Ruck, the eldest son.
Yes.
And yeah, I have Billy, Oh Young-soo, and then I have Giancarlo Esposito and Jonathan Banks making comeback after he was snubbed last time as well. So but for winning time, my fave supporting actor is Adrian Brody.
He's great. I just
he's
was
so good at Pat Riley. And have you watched through episode 8?
No, not yet.
Okay, so he has like a lot of good stuff because this was 5, right? This past or
5. We just ended with Jack McKinney getting his head busted open.
Amazing final minute
Tracy Letts.
I watched like 6 times.
Incredible performance from Tracy Letts.
Like 10 feet on the concrete.
In the real world, Paul Westphal takes over the team, and that's Jason Segel, and then Adrian Brody becomes
you see that in like the next 3 episodes,
right.
And then you see like Adrian and Jason have like a really good chemistry, like bromance, and then in real life, like Pat kind of gets like a little screwed over once Jack comes back into the fray. So there's lots of stuff there with him. But I don't know like how big, like we talk about like winning time is. And I don't think like ratings are everything, but it just doesn't feel like it has that same type of buzz. So I don't have him in, but okay. I'm hoping he'll get into guest actor for Succession.
I mean, very well could. Joyce, limited series we're going to go to it's
just like a mess.
Goodness gracious. I mean, there are so many shows here. I'm going to read some of the shows that just I didn't even put in. I can't even actually read them all. There's just so many shows, Joyce. I'm looking through the list. It's like The Girl from Plainview, which is on Hulu right now. We Own the City.
Hulu has a lot of shows.
We Own the City, which is a new David Simon show, right? Coming with Ronaldo Marcus Green, I believe, directing, coming to HBO. The Thing About Pam, the Renee Zellweger show that is like they're promoting like crazy. We Crashed with Jared Leto, not in there. We love our We Crashed. But
that's your favorite show.
Super Pumped, which I love, not in. Scenes from a Marriage, Moon Knight, on and on and on. Inventing Anna, Pam and Tommy. All these shows are not in for me. So my list was Dope Sick, White Lotus, Maid, Dropout, Station 11, and then the last. So that's the top 5, and then the last one for me was The Staircase, but I left out First Lady and Under Banner of the Heavens. Staircase is coming to HBO. It's got Colin Firth and Toni Collette based on the podcast, the true crime podcast.
Okay, so again, this could wind up just having 6 slots. I mean, 5 slots, even though we're allowing 6 predictions right now, but it depends on submissions. So I have Under the Banner of Heaven, Dope Sick, White Lotus, Maid, The Dropout, and The Staircase.
Nice. You don't have Station 11. I actually have Station 11 winning.
I don't have Station 11, and I don't even know if that's something they might go for.
It's just I thought it was so good and it's so well done. I do hope it gets in. So kind of hope taking it at
like
the
this
win.
season is weird because I feel like there's a lot of shows obviously and a lot of spring releases, but nothing from the fall has really asserted itself. Like there's no Queen's Gambit from the fall, right? Like you have like Maid, which did well, and then you have Dope Sick, which is kind of sort of building momentum. Like it's like winning stuff, you know, at least from Michael Keaton. And but it's not like super, neither of them are super strong. And Maid had like a really soft guild run. It won WGA, but it was kind of soft otherwise. And like last year, I've told like multiple people this by now, but like as soon as I watched the Mayor of Easttown screeners, I was like, this is coming, like Kate Winslet is coming.
Right.
And I've watched several of these limited series, these new ones for the spring now, and I don't really feel that way about any of them. Like they're not bad, but it's just kind of like they're like good, like they're fine. And I don't know like what's gonna catch on the way that Mayor did. Maybe nothing will.
That's the thing. Like maybe there isn't one. That's the tough beat.
Yeah. And then the other thing is it's like with the guilds, like in the winter, like Mayor was still winning stuff. Like it dominated the guilds. It just lost DGA to Underground Railroad, which was also not eligible this season because it was last cycle. So it's like these other the current Emmy cycle shows haven't really asserted themselves.
Right.
But yeah, so I think like any of these shows can win this category. I think we kind of knew that like Queen's Gambit was winning, even though I think Mayor was really close to beating it, just based on its guild run, you know, the past couple months. But Queen's Gambit just had so much below the line support. Yeah, and then we also have a lot of scammer shows this season.
All the scammer shows. So I don't know, like, are they just sort of gonna cancel each other out? Like I mean, that's the thing, like of these type of shows. So like of the scammer shows, the only one I actually have in really is the Dropout, because I do feel that the other prominent ones were like We Crashed and Pam and Tommy to an extent and Inventing Anna and Super Pumped. And I wonder, all of those have a little bit of samey kind of quality, and they're all kind of like more popcorny than profound. And while I think the Dropout is also popcorny, it does enough shading to make it feel like a little more serious than the others. That would be my take on it. That was why I put it in over those other ones. It also seems like it has the most buzz. So
yeah, so the finale is this week. I think. Yeah, I watched it yesterday, and it's basically like an Emmy reel for Amanda Seyfried.
Right. Which we'll get to actually coming up here because
yeah, so that's also partially why I kept it in. Like I think generally like most people like it, and it's basically the Amanda show, right? I think 8 episodes is probably too long for it. I think we talked about this before, that like the setup just took way too long because it goes through like her college years and everything. And the scammy stuff doesn't really start until episode 4 with Walgreens and like Alan Ruck singing Firework.
So it's funny, like this is the world where if the Dropout was a movie, those first 3 episodes would have been the first 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah,
and instead they're 3 hours. Now I understand why they needed that, because I think the difference between the Dropout and like We Crashed and Super Pumped, all of which I've really liked. And I actually think Super Pumped is the most entertaining of the 3. I just love it because I love Pearl Jam and I love Wolf of Wall Street. And that's basically what the show is. It's just like ripping off Wolf of Wall Street completely. And just so much fun. But the thing that the Dropout does is kind of tries to make the audience understand Elizabeth Holmes and her mindset. And while it doesn't necessarily endorse that mindset, at least presents it. So then later when you're watching her like just completely scam and be very unethical in the show, you kind of understand why she's like that. So I think it does pay off, but it does. And Hulu released those 3 episodes at once. So the first 3 you probably watched in like one night and were just like doing other stuff maybe when you were watching them. And then like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 are all individual episodes. So I'm of two minds of it where I'm like, I get what they were doing. It definitely felt dragged out, but yeah. So there you go. I don't know.
Yeah, and I also like I totally get why I think like it's the correct approach because it is so focused on Elizabeth Holmes, and I think there's a lot more thematic elements to it than just presenting her as this like her anti-heroine arc, obviously, because there's also a lot of stuff in there because obviously she's a woman in Silicon Valley, not a lot of those. And there's also this like generational gap thing, especially in episode 4, when she's trying to like sell Theranos to like all these men. And that was at a time, coming off of like Facebook and all this stuff, when like the business basically was just kind of like, oh, we need to like cash in on this new generation, like, of inventors basically.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, now that we're going into like the Gen Z generation, because we're ancient, it's kind of, it like in retrospect, you just see how it didn't bear out and how easily she was able to con these people, because they were just like these old guys who are just like, we got to get in on this train right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's pretty fascinating. I enjoy the show.
Yeah, but like my point, like all that, like there's so many scammer shows. So like the reason I put Under the Banner of Heaven in first, which I've seen the first episode of, is because I feel like that is actually different from these other shows, because it's based on a real murder as well,
right.
Double homicide, and a nonfiction book by John Krakauer. But like that is not a scammer show at all. It's a real case, murder, and the protagonist, Andrew Garfield, his detective, is an actual protagonist. It's not an anti-hero. He's not an anti-hero or anything. He's just a man going through a crisis of faith. Because it's you learn a lot about Mormonism in the
Nice.
show.
I'm excited. I'm excited to watch it, and I'm very excited.
I know. So I wonder if that's like, because it's so different from a lot of these other shows, that would benefit it.
I mean, it very well could. Joyce, we'll cook through TV movie. I don't think we have to spend a great deal of time on this. I actually have the top 5. So The Fallout, The Survivor, Zoe's Extraordinary Christmas, Ray Donovan the movie, and Help were my 5.
I have that. And you've seen The Survivor. I have not watched that yet.
So The Survivor is like a pretty legit. It was at TIFF, I think, in 2020. Barry Levinson directed it. It's Ben Foster playing a Holocaust survivor named Harry Haft, who is a boxer. Really great performances, like incredibly harrowing stuff. Barry Levinson doing like similar work, I think, to like what you've seen from his previous HBO movies, where it's like, from the Madoff movie with De Niro, and I know he did You Don't Know Jack and Paterno. It's like pretty solid. The Fallout is I think it's a school shooting fallout from that with Jenny Ortega is the lead, I believe. And I know that was also pretty well received. I think at South by Southwest last year or 2 years ago. So
are you predicting Emmy wins for Barry Levinson and Sam Levinson?
Maybe. I mean, I have maybe we'll see.
I can see like the Survivor just being another bad education, because that was also an acquisition.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't mean this is a pejorative. It's like a real movie that HBO then picked up, because like. Yeah. So there you go. Let's do actress in a limited series first. Joyce, I have, again, just completely rogue here. So there's 6 slots. I have the top 3.
Possibly just 5 in the
possibly
end.
Just 5, but we have 6 for our predictions. So I have the top 3, though. I inverted the order. So I have Amanda Seyfried winning for The Dropout. Like you mentioned, she's incredible on the show. Love it. Viola Davis for First Lady and Margaret Qualley for Maid. Now, our odds have Margaret Qualley, Viola Davis, and Amanda Seyfried. And then after that, just gone. I go. Mackenzie Davis for Station 11, because I'm bullish on that. Julie Garner for Inventing Anna, because Julie Garner is actually like the best part of the show. And then I put Anne Hathaway in for We Crashed, simply because I just absolutely love her on it. And she dresses like a Na'vi from Avatar in one of the episodes. So tell me why I'm wrong. And I explain to me, I'm assuming Gillian Anderson.
I don't, like this category is crazy, because I feel like last year it was pretty easy to predict most of them. And
so who do you have?
I have Amanda, Margaret. I have Michelle Pfeiffer for the First Lady. I have Viola. I have Claire Foy for A Very British Scandal. And I too have Julia, in that sixth slot that might not exist.
Just
because I think I mean, she's won 2 Emmys for Ozark. She may very well win her third for Ozark. And the show is, uneven and not like, it's a Shonda show, right? And she does the most in it. But it was a hit, right? People watched it. Did they like it? I don't know. But people watched it. It doesn't matter like whether you like it or not. They have the numbers saying people watched it.
correct.
So it's a very easy watch. I'll say that. Even though the last 2 episodes are over an hour long and basically movies. I'm like, why?
I think she's a lot of fun on the show, and she does have the flashiest part, and kind of put her in there just because of the fact that she's, like you said, is the Emmy favorite. So
yeah, so I don't like, there are like other people I was considering for that. I consider just not even predicting this a slot, but there's Jessica Chastain. And
Oscar winner Jessica Chastain,
Yeah.
Lily James for Pam and Tommy, I think would be a popular pick. Olivia Colman for Landscapers, Renee Zellweger for The Thing About Pam, Sarah Paulson for Impeachment, Beanie Feldstein for Impeachment. I mean, there's just a lot of people here. Stacey Edgar Jones for Under the Banner of the Heaven, Joyce. I mean,
so I feel like, I mean, I've only seen the first episode because they haven't sent any more, but so she is the victim. This is not a spoiler. Like she and her baby are murdered. So she's just seen through flashbacks a lot. So I don't know. I feel like she could be more supporting, but I don't know like how that will shake out. But yeah, there's also Gillian Anderson for the First Lady that I did not put in.
She plays Eleanor Roosevelt.
Yeah, so I've seen 5 episodes of that now, and I really like Michelle in it. I actually think she's the best of the 3. But I don't know if there's room for all 3 of them to make it in, especially if it's just going to be 5 slots in the end.
Right.
So, and it might be a mistake to leave Gillian Anderson out, considering she just swept last season for The Crown, and this is basically kind of
The Crown Part 2.
Similar type of performance.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'll make the case here quickly for Mackenzie Davis, Station 11. Again, just an incredible show. I worry that it's a little out of sight, out of mind because it came out a while ago at this point or earlier in the year, but she's awesome on it. Really very compelling, just a great performance. I don't know if she'll get in. I'm just going to leave her in there as a hope diction, but here you go. For drama, a limited movie actor, Joyce. I have the top 3. Michael Keaton, Andrew Garfield, and Ben Foster for Survivor. And then I threw more darts for Colin Firth. This is, again, 6 slots, maybe just 5. I have Colin Firth for The Staircase, Jared Leto for We Crashed, and I'm sticking with Station 11 for Himish Patel, who's great on Station 11. So those are my 5 or 6.
I have Michael Keaton, Andrew Garfield. I have Paul Bettany, my guy, Very British Scandal. I also have Colin Firth for The Staircase. And then I have Evan Peters for Monster, which I don't even know if it's actually coming out this season.
Wow.
But I put him in there. And then I kept Sebastian Stan for Pam and Tommy.
Wow. Well, he's definitely the best part of Pam and Tommy, I would argue. He's really quite good. Maybe.
I need Bucky and Vision to face off.
Sure. That'd be great.
So
I threw Jared in, obviously, just we love Jared here, and he is going so big on We Crashed. It's just such a hilarious performance. I think he's really quite good. And we'll see. Ben Foster has an incredible transformation in The Survivor. It's like Raging Bull-esque. I think he lost like 60 pounds to play this character, and then gained it back to play the character after he is escaped from Auschwitz. It's a great performance. I don't know if people watch it, I think they will be very impressed. So
yeah, I thought about putting him in. Maybe I should put him in. I don't know. Even if he does get in, I think he'll have a hard time winning because TV movie performances don't really win here anymore.
I have Michael Keaton winning. Now that was a winter favorite. Was Michael Keaton. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't continue that at the Emmys.
I still have him in first, but I would not be surprised if he's usurped by someone. Although I don't really know who at this point. Maybe Andrew.
Right.
I don't know.
Andrew would be the pick, I think, honestly.
Yeah, and like it's I need to see more of that show. So that's why I don't have him in first yet. So, but yeah, Keaton can just kind of ride the wave and just being Keaton to win, I guess.
That was my
last year this category was a mess and Ewan McGregor won. So
sure. We never forget. For supporting in limited movie or limited series, Joyce, I have the top. So again, 6 slots. I have the top 4: Jennifer Coolidge, Andy McDowell for Maid, Jennifer Coolidge for White Lotus, Andy McDowell for Maid, Caitlin Deaver for Dopesick, and Ellen Burstyn for The First Lady. And then I have Florence Pugh for Hawkeye and Toni Collette for The Staircase. Those are my 6. I had the people I left out were Connie Britton for White Lotus. Very solid performance, but I just didn't think she's in it very much, having watched it. Laurie Metcalf for The Dropout, I love, but again, I'm wondering if she has enough to do. Toni Collette in The Staircase, seemingly, again, sight unseen, but is like the second. She is the victim in the show, and I feel like it's a big part, or has potential to be a juicy part. So that's why I put her in.
I had no idea what to do here, and I ended up with 3 White Lotus ladies.
Wow, nice.
So I have Jennifer, Connie, and Alexandra. I have Caitlin Deaver for Dopesick, Annie McDowell for Maid, and I too kept Florence Pugh for Hawkeye because why not?
So I'd actually be shocked if she got in. I'm surprised she's like
6
odds.
She's 6 odds because of us.
Probably. She's great on the show. She's so much fun. I don't think it'll happen, but I'll leave her in.
No, but it's just a hope diction for now. I won't keep her in there by July 12th. So.
And then lastly,
it's Joyce, to make people remember her performance.
I love, yeah. Lastly, the movie limited supporting actor. I believe you slacking this morning and we're like, this is just a mess. It's just what is this?
I have no idea what to do here.
So here's what I did. I have the top 4, which is Murray Bartlett for White Lotus, who is seemingly the favorite. Peter Sarsgaard for Dopesick. O.T. Fagbenle for First Lady. How do you say his name, Joyce?
O.T. Fagbenle.
Yeah, there you go. I did it right, maybe. Seth Rogen for Pam and Tommy. And then I did Naveen Andrews for The Dropout. And my 6th slot went to Kyle Chandler for Super Pumped.
Okay.
I left out Nick Robinson for Maid and William H. Macy for Dropout.
I have Murray, Naveen. I have William H. Macy.
Nice.
He's not in it a lot either. He's kind of like maybe he has a little bit more screen time than Laurie Metcalf. But he also has prosthetics.
It's a strange look. He looks like Peter Sarsgaard in Green Lantern, if you remember.
And I also have Peter Sarsgaard. I have OT, and I just put in Wyatt Russell for Under the Banner of Heaven.
Wow, nice. So no Naveen for you.
No, I have Naveen.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I have Double Dropout.
So what if he wins, Naveen?
Naveen?
I think it could happen. He's awesome on it. He's just so evil and it's great.
And he has a really good scene in the finale with Amanda. So
but right now I do have Murray Barlow winning because everybody loved Murray Barlow in White Lotus, and that was like the thing. But again, I wonder, will White Lotus be able to sustain its momentum?
I mean, like White Lotus, it didn't really like blow up, like it didn't smash the guilds at all either, Right. But again, it was like losing to shows that are not eligible this Emmy cycle.
Correct.
I think it just like the only awards it won was just Critics' Choice for Murray and Jennifer, right? And that's not industry, so.
Right. But the Critics' Choice is the best Oscar predictor choice, so they're kind of industry. Maybe they're solid for TV too.
It's not industry. They just like to brag about being
Sure.
Do they brag about being the best Emmy predictors?
I don't know. Maybe they will this year. Maybe we'll see a tweet. I'll just stump for Kyle Chandler on Super Pumped. He plays like the Kyle Chandler role, I would charitably call it, where he's like the righteous good guy.
He's like his like Wolf of Wall Street, like FBI.
A little bit. So the show is about Uber with Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Travis Kalanick. Great performance from Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I did not put him in, but I really wanted to. He's so good on it. I think he's like really great. And Kyle Chandler plays Bill Gurley, who is the venture capitalist who like put a lot of money in for Benchmark Capital. And he's actually referenced on We Crashed, I think. That just is there's the whole Scammer cinematic universe is incredible.
Jared Leto is referenced in the Dropout finale.
That's great. So Jared Leto's referenced Dropout finale. I know for a fact We Crashed, they referenced Benchmark Capital as well, because I think Benchmark put in money on WeWork. So Kyle Chandler is basically like the guy trying to like keep Travis Kalanick on the rails and doing a bad job of it. And it's just a great performance. I think he's really fun. He has a couple of great scenes with Uma Thurman, who plays Ariana Huffington. It's just like classic Kyle Chandler stuff, just very down the middle. And I love him in it. And I just wanted to get Super Pumped on my list somehow. So that's where I found a spot for him.
I don't know, like Showtime. I don't know what to do with the Showtime shows, really.
No. I don't know.
Like their last huge hit was Homeland, right? And that was a decade ago. And then they had Escape at Dannemora, which was like a moderate size hit. It didn't win any Emmys, but it got a bunch of nominations. So, and they have, a bunch of shows this time. And I have Yellow Jackets in for a couple.
Yeah.
Things.
It's just
but yeah, they're like First Lady, I don't know, really overall, and Super Pumped. I don't know. I don't know anything. So.
That should be the title. Is I don't know anything for me either. But that was it. So that's the Emmys. We just did it. We went through the entire thing. So I'm sure we'll talk about.
We really need Hamilton back in this race, so we could just reserve 3 slots for them.
Yeah, I wonder what will be this year's Hamilton, if anything.
Did Disney Plus have a filmed stage musical this year?
I don't think so.
No.
So we'll be talking about this a lot, I think. Certainly, maybe future episodes we'll go through individual categories. And we didn't even talk about Succession. We didn't talk much about Minx, which we love.
I know.
So
that's okay. We've talked about Succession a lot through Oscar season. We'll give people a break.
That's true. We could find other stuff to talk about. We'll do some other stuff. Joyce,
maybe like one week or maybe it'll be better after nominations before. I don't know. Maybe like we can try to like pick episode submissions for people.
Would love that.
Even though they don't really matter anymore.
No, I think after nominations, maybe that'll be easier.
I know, but they usually kind of pick quickly. So because some of them are kind of obvious. I don't know. Yeah.
All right. And Joyce, so maybe we'll be back later this week to talk about the Oscars.
Is that a tease?
Of years past. Yes, that's a tease.
Oh my gosh.
I know. I can't wait. I'll see you later, Joyce.
Bye.
Bye.